Big dog. Big dog for the young boy.
So,
Big Talk,
¿qué tal? How's
Big
it
Talk.
been going, sir?
episode 3.
No,
Yeah.
4. What are you
Shit. Episode 4.
You forgot 3. 3 is my favorite one so far because we had my boy come through.
It's our
I
first
felt like
interview.
he was the best person
Feel like
to
that-
start with as a
okay.
guest. I mean, I can't say that as man biased because we haven't
Yeah.
we haven't had anybody else.
True,
But
true.
he was dope. Like I really enjoyed him, having him over.
That was super. That was super dope, and I feel like I said in that podcast, I felt that there's definitely more podcasts with him coming up, more more Big Talk one. He's easy to talk to,
Yeah.
and we there's definitely so much more we could know about him and about what he's doing, and just in general, just like in conversation, like somebody
Yeah.
you could have a conversation with. So
Speaking
So-
of him, you noticed today he posted the Dykeman library. They tearing it
yeah,
down,
they tearing
bro.
that shit down.
That shit was.
That's
I thought I
crazy.
would never see some shit like that before. Like Dykeman
Yeah.
library. Like since when they tear down libraries?
And
in the
afterwards,
neighborhood?
he put the picture of like what's gonna be there later on. It's gonna be
What
like
is
a building, like a
residential.
yeah.
What the?
It's not gonna be. It didn't look like it was too tall, but it's gonna be a residential building nonetheless. So
So people don't use libraries anymore and shit. Like
Wow.
that's the new wave, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe they'll put it somewhere else, and maybe there's another one close by. But as far as I know, like growing up as a kid, that's where I went.
I
To the
know
library for?
the next library after that is the one on 179th.
Damn, for real. Going downtown.
Going downtown between San Nicolas and Audubon. That's the one I used to go to.
Damn. So I don't even know more uptown of where the next.
There might be
library would
another one around there, but I don't remember.
That's the one that I grew up on. Yeah, but yeah, man. Shout out to Charlie. Shout out to Charlie for coming through and dropping some gems. That was a great episode. Again, like let's talk about how we felt like during during the episode and like what like I'll tell my experience. You can tell me yours. I felt like like that whole day led up to that. And it was fucking monumental. That day was like incredible. The way that everything happened. And then while shooting, like I'm just like the whole time I'm just trying to make sure I got energy because I was fucking cooked. I was dead. I was dead from all the writing that I did.
Yeah, you
that
rode uptown all the way to Dykeman, right?
Yeah.
Right back, rode back and stuff.
Yeah,
Bike.
so I had a long bike ride that day, so I was pretty tired, and it was an action packed day, and while like sometimes I felt it was weird because like during the interview, like during the podcast that we had, like I felt like I felt empty, but not necessarily in a bad way, but like sometimes like when I'll be talking, I'll be like, what the hell am I talking about? Just in my head. But I think it was just like it was a combination of being tired and just like continuing on the day, even though like you're dead. But like looking back at the podcast, I'm like, wow, like I honestly didn't expect it to be as good as it was. It was fucking dope, and I was like, yo, that's awesome. That just goes to show you like you push yourself, man, and you're just gonna keep getting better.
I felt like it was good off the rip.
Yeah.
I remember you told me that, like, oh, like I feel like I'm talking too much or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, you guys are going like we flowing, like everything was going good. I think
Yeah,
we
definitely did.
I definitely heard it back all the way through. That's the first episode that it releases, and I listen to it right away.
Yeah.
The other ones I'll spend days and I don't listen back to it. I don't know why, but this is part of that thing that I know. I just feel like since I know nothing could be done, we don't usually spend too long editing them.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to it because then I might be like, oh, can we edit this? And I don't even want to touch them. Like just leave them out like that.
Honestly, I kind of forgot to send it to you so you could check it out. Like it was just one of those like I saved it to the end of the week to start editing it. So like I started editing it. I think it was already like late Friday, and then I finished editing it on Saturday, and then it was coming out the next day. So I was pushing myself with that, but also like with editing, like we have a good understanding of like what we're comfortable with, like leaving in or whatever. Because like for me, mostly what I take out. This is also for y'all, for anybody who's interested in getting started podcast. Like for me, I kind of just more than anything take out like what I feel like would be dead air, where it's like a second or two where like it's just like. There's no like speaking. Maybe I take out my phone and look at a topic or whatever.
But we hardly even do that. I think
Exactly,
the most
yeah.
we do is when we take a break because of the camera. You have to restart the camera.
That'd be annoying
take a water
sometimes.
break or
You guys have probably noticed that already. Like my phone's alarm will ring, which right now I probably got like 23 minutes on it. But basically my camera, it doesn't record past 30 minutes. So that's why we do that. But that should be annoying because sometimes I be in the middle of a thought and me like for me to actually get it out, I have to get it out. I have to like throw it up. You know what I'm saying? Like for me to get my points out. So like that'd be fucking me up.
Train of thought sometimes.
Yeah, but this last one I heard it and you guys can see it in the episode. I heard it and I'm just like, hold on. I put it down and I continue my thing because I'm like, nah, like I gotta get this one out because I like this is a point that I feel like will be valuable. So that's one thing that's annoying, but like in general, like it'd be dope to actually shoot these. Like I really enjoy shooting Big Talk, which is why we got fucking Big Talk episode 4. We not letting up, baby.
Facts.
Feel me?
I was gonna ask you earlier, but I'll just ask you on the episode itself. Like, so what are you thinking for 5? You thinking of having a guest again, or? Yeah,
so we're shooting fucking 2 this week.
Or this one and you're right.
So we're shooting. There's gonna be 2 episodes shot this week, but we're gonna keep dropping these like weekly. We're gonna make it a weekly thing. We missed a week right now, but we not beating ourselves up about that. But so this is a big talk to like regroup all the thoughts, all the life that has been that we've been living these days. So it's kind of like I know last time was more it was more like bringing somebody else into our world and like learning more about them. Yeah. But now we're back to like
now we're back to talk shit.
Talk more big talk, man.
What is there to talk about?
I don't think I asked you. What was your question? You asked me a question.
When earlier today?
Yeah, right. No, right now.
Oh no! You answered it. What we were gonna like if we were having a guest.
Yeah.
We were working on that.
So back to that. So there's gonna be 2 episodes shot this week. This one and then another one. We're gonna interview somebody else. You'll find out who it is when it comes out. I'm not gonna say any names, but it's basically somebody that we have met a long years ago,
bro.
And he's like one of our friends, like artists. Like he's managing him as well. One of our our boys. So it might be like we're having 2 other people also.
We might have. I feel like we should definitely have both of them. I love Jason. He's
exactly.
I spilled the beans.
It's all good.
I told it. But
But it's 2 people that we fuck with. That we have a rapport with, and they're 2 interesting people because they're doing this music industry thing, different things than necessarily me and Lewis are doing, me and Achilles. But we're all in the music business, so it'll be interesting to see what they do and how they get into it.
What's crazy to that, like, and I feel like with him, I already mentioned his name, Jason, but like with him, whenever I meet with him, like in person, it's usually the same way, like how you was mentioning with Charlie. Like it's not a surface level conversation. Even if it's like a little bit, quick, because we just bump into each other like in the streets, we'll still like, just talk for a little bit, and like just in a matter of seconds, we'll catch up on a few things, and like he'll put me onto something that he's doing, or like I'm like, yo, that's dope. Like, like that's how you could tell, like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he's my dog. Yo, like we all like ever since we met him, we like it's like just like family. Like we don't even have to speak for like a couple years, and then whenever it picks back up, like we're like it's like the same as when we were fucking teenagers and shit like that, hanging out at Handrell's crib and shit like that. He was one of the people that we were talking about, like when we used to hang out in our friend's house late night and shit like that, playing video games. He'll be there.
We'll go to house parties and shit like that.
Yeah, man. Fucking
fire, man.
Good people, and it's dope that we're all connected and we're all actually doing things to continue to follow our our purpose and shit like that. So that's the episode you guys can look forward to for the next week. That's gonna be a vibe. I got a question for you. So like we always bring this question up. How you feeling? What you been up to? How you feeling these days? And I want you to let it loose, cause let it loose.
Damn. I mean, I've been feeling good. I just feel I feel a little bit. I wouldn't say burned out, but just getting back into the flow of things. Because as you know, like I was outside of New York City this past week, so I came back and just gathering everything, like starting up with sessions again, getting in contact with some of the artists that inquire about sessions, going back to the other studio to do sessions, like
diving right back into the work.
That, but then also like I did take some time to just rest. I slept a lot while I was out, like just and beat myself up too much, like. I try to focus a little bit more on the YouTube content since I was away from the studio. But I feel pretty good. Like I came back, like strong for like, I came back to New York, like excited. I had a bunch of packages of stuff that I bought, like audio equipment and like, just testing shit out. I was up all night yesterday, as I told you.
Putting in that crazy work.
But
all right. So I asked that question so I could get into another question, which I knew you kind of wasn't gonna bring up, but I wanted to bring it up. So
yeah,
let's talk about where you were, why you were there. Talk about where you were, why you were there, because I feel like that's gonna lead to like a conversation.
So I was in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
In Philly, you know, getting some of that Philly life. I'm gonna be just living between New York and Philly because my girlfriend's gonna to
Big
school
moves.
over there. Yeah,
Big moves, man.
yeah. So we were like, you know, just settling in because she's starting her semester. So we were just basically just moving stuff in, like, you know, furniture into an apartment over there, getting to know the neighborhood, trying out the food, walking around, like, you know, all of that.
So, but how do you feel that like that experience was like learning some place that's completely new to you?
It was dope. It could be a little bit not not to like that you hesitate to, like, you know, like want to go out, but I feel like coming from New York City, I know what that city life is like. So when I see the city structures and, like, you know, it looks very similar to New York City.
But a question though, to get into one thing that you just said, what do you mean like when you like it kind of keeps you from what you said?
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. So look,
okay.
For the reason that, like, we live in New York City, and you know how it is. Like, sometimes it could be a beautiful day outside, and I know how the day is gonna be with people outside.
Yeah.
So I prefer to lay low.
Yeah.
I would usually do that, and then, but like, late in the afternoon, I might ride my bicycle or something like that. Like, I prefer to avoid the people.
Really?
I'm kind of like that.
Is that something that is coming up in you now, or is that something that you feel like is?
I've always been like that.
Yeah.
Like that's why, like, when we were young, we used to go to the Dominican parade and all those things. And then after I got older, I stopped. Like, I stopped messing with that. Yeah, like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, why you were asked, like, especially since the last year and stuff, everything we went through.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've always been like that. Like, I don't like taking the subway when it's like rush hour or anything like that. I just like to, you know, like, if I'm going to point A to point B, I just like to make it like seamless. Like, you know, not a lot of like, oh, how am I gonna do this? There's too many people here, or traffic, all those things. So going back to what I was saying, Philly. So like, just looking at it like from the window, just like, you know, driving up there and like seeing what it's like, you might be like, oh damn, this is another New York. Like, you know, the streets are so tight. There's a bunch of restaurants, a bunch of bars, and this and that. But what I noticed is that you actually have to step outside and walk around. And at least in the neighborhood that I'm at, like, it's really friendly. Like, there's a lot of great people. Surprisingly, there's still some mom and pop stores around there. Like, not much, but there's some cafes and stuff like that. There's a bunch of restaurants. But another thing we did was just we walked by like one of the parks. Like, you know, we just walked all the way to where the Rocky Steps are at. And like, that was beautiful. Like, the park itself and stuff. That's where I noticed that it's like, damn, like, is that city structure similar to New York? But like my friend Manny said, which Manny lives over there. Remember Manny from 190? Yeah, he does. He lives like a few blocks from where we're gonna be at.
Damn.
So I'm gonna link up with him next time.
Dope.
Yeah, but he was telling me, he's like, yo, it's like New York, but much better because it's less people. And that's what I noticed when I went out that day and I walked to the park.
Is that? But I mean, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that you
it all depends. Yeah, it all depends.
That you don't really like necessarily like crowds. But like, is that like less people better? That's one. I'm sorry to cut you off, because I'm gonna add a little bit, and then you'll keep on going. So for me, one of the experiences that I've been having recently is that like I'm feeling like a very nostalgic feeling me when I go outside. Like, it's past COVID. Like, you know, you didn't see that many people out during like COVID times and shit like that, and then now you're actually starting to see people. But like, I feel like COVID, part of it, what like refreshed my mind and made me really appreciative of where I come from, because I was born and raised in New York, and I remember going downtown as a kid and shit like that, and seeing all the people, seeing so much going on, but yet I'm still in my own little world with my family and having fun. So I've been getting that feeling. Like, me and my girl went downtown this past week. We walked down, and just walking down, I just got a feeling like, yo, like, this place is crazy because there's so many people. Everybody's living in their own world, they have their own reality. Yeah, and somehow you're connecting with these people, even if you're just walking down the street. If you just say one word to somebody, whatever it may be, whatever you get, there's so much here that you could get yourself into, and that goes to some experiences that I've been having that I'm gonna talk about a little bit later in the podcast. But I just wanted to say that, like, maybe less people is also good depending on what you want to do. Yeah, I fucking love New York.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like, it's reasons for New York to be loved and stuff. Like, I definitely love that. Like, yeah, But yeah, like there's also times that it's just like it would be nice. Like you see, like when we go visit Hydo and Genesis up
Yeah,
there, like
yeah,
where they
yeah.
live at. Look how
Man,
beautiful and how peaceful
that's
that
a
is. Like
fact.
you
I
just
can't
chill
wait
in
to
your
go. I
backyard
can't wait
and
to go
stuff.
again.
It's dope, but like yeah, like but yeah, Philly was dope. So that's what I was doing for the past week, and so I came back yesterday, and then ever since, just getting back. You hit me up yesterday, like you're trying to record this podcast today
Yeah.
at 9 o'clock. It is. Oh,
Yo, that
that's
shit.
It is 1:06 right now. 1:06 in the morning. We were trying to start like at 9 or 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's how it
Imagine,
is.
imagine we would have tried to shoot at my crib too.
Damn.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have taken.
It's
me
cool.
long.
What about you? What you did this week?
I'm gonna get back to that, but I want to get deeper into what's going on in your life right now.
Yeah.
So your girl's moving to Philly to go to
Yeah.
school. It's not that far from New York for all you guys who know geography and
Yeah.
shit like that. So they're gonna see each other often. But you could technically say right now you're in a long distance relationship. So I wanted to ask you, like, obviously your plan is to make your relationship the most harmonious and make sure everything works because that's somebody that you love.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
somebody that you really care for. So my question to you is like, what like out of curiosity, even just for me and for anybody to know, like, what are you gonna do to make sure this relationship thrives and distance is not even a factor? Like have you planned any of that out, or like is that something steps that you're already taking now to make that work?
Yeah. Okay. Yo, I gotta get new mic cables. My bad. But yeah, that's something that we actually we had to like we discussed like a lot of times, like before she made the move over there, and she asked herself, is this something that I want to? Because I understand, she asked herself like, is that something that I want to bring up, to like bring into our relationship, like make it into this after we had already like we've been living together and stuff for some time, and like to me, I've always told her like, yeah, do it because I know that's her dream, that's what she wanted to do, and bro, this like it's crazy, bro. Like we could probably talk about this later on, but like I feel like sometimes like I feel like it's gonna get to somewhere else, but I even lost my train of thought, like what I was talking about with you.
Okay, hold on.
Ask me a question.
Pause. What you said? What?
No, because
Hold on. Pause. Everything. If you could get into whatever, and then afterwards you could tell me like, yo, take certain parts out. Just in case if you're censoring yourself.
It's not even about censoring. Okay. It's just that I could go on a whole. We're gonna go on another rabbit hole type shit.
That's fine.
But the thing is, like,
because we're always gonna get back to the point. So
this is the thing. It will lead back to like the question that you were asking me. And sorry if I'm not looking enough at the camera, guys. It's just that
this is at an awkward position.
Yeah, we got to figure it out with working on it. But it's funny you mentioned that, like you asked me that question because we discussed it a few times before she did that. But also while we were there, like this week we just it was a lot of like you be saying, like not surface level conversations. Like we went deep to it, and like we were acknowledging like why we're making these steps, why she was doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like not just like yeah, we're doing this and this is what it's gonna be like for 3 years. It's like no, we're doing this and we're doing this as this is something that we were already talking about, and this is something that this is the next step that we're taking to better each other's life. And not in the sense that like I'm not going to school while I'm staying here, but
no, for her to better yours while you better yours,
bro. She's just following her dreams. So like anything, like what it's like. We know what it's like. We creators and shit. We do stuff that like people usually told us not to do and shit like that. She's following her dreams. So anything that as long as she's doing what she loves and what she wanted to do, I'm all for it. Like we will figure it out.
Yo, hold on. And you know what's crazy about that? The fact that she's following her path is also allowing you to follow your path.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you guys could be also on the same path.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we always like we talked about it. And it's like, yo, bro, like I'm like, yo, we're adults. Like we're at an age that we know what we want, and we've shown it for the past few years. We respect each other. We know what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we know that this is not something that like this is not this is not puppy love type shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we are grown people. So it's like that understanding is already there. So it's like after that is already there, it's not much. I feel like there's not much to it. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's like it is what it is. Type
like it is
shit.
what it is. Like we're making it work. Like we're gonna figure it out.
So now is we passed that, and now it's like let's make sure we know how to make this work.
Yeah,
the best
exactly.
way that it can.
And it's like it all goes back to being harmonious, you know. And it's like and it was like the last few days was a little bit like, you know, there was a lot of feelings and stuff and emotions because it's like, you know, we're being separated for like the first time in months and stuff. Like sometimes we go on vacations and all that. Like I'll go on vacation with you, so it's a few days, but for now it's gonna be a little bit longer periods because she's taking a lot of classes and like those classes are intensive. She got a lot of tests and stuff. Like you know what it's like too with your girlfriend and stuff. So it's like she's doing her thing, but it's like I keep telling her like, yo, like just remember where you came from. Like it goes back to the episode 3, like growing from being raised by a single mom, by a grandma, no male figures in the house, like, look where you're coming from and look what you achieved. And it's like, don't worry about anything else. We're going to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
So, like, I just feel like, you know, when you feel like that feeling is there, like, you know, I'm not worried about anything in my sense.
All right. So that was awesome. Now let's get back to the question. Like, I want to know, like, specifics. I want to know, like, what are the steps that, all right, so you already know you're going to make it work. Now, what are the steps you're taking to make it work?
I mean, it's simple stuff like communication, definitely, honesty, just being upfront, talking often, FaceTiming. Like I'm the type of person I never really like FaceTiming or anything like that, but it's like, you know, you have to, like, if it's one person I'm FaceTime, it's my girl or my family. So, you know, that it's just I don't know, man. It's weird because to me,
feeling and doing exactly what you feel type shit.
Yeah, but it's like, I feel like everything leads to honesty and just you being yourself.
Yeah.
Like, bro, yesterday, like, I was hungry and I tried to go to the deli. Mind you, I came down from Philly. I remember, I'm like, oh, shit, I got to eat dinner. I got to make something to eat or something. So I went to the deli. They were closing, whatever. They couldn't make me a sandwich. So, like, oh, damn. So I came home. I had some potatoes and, like, some stuff there. And I just FaceTime her. I'm like, listen, like, the deli, they're not making sandwiches. I came home, like, help me figure this shit out. Like, we FaceTime each other. She helped me cook the whole meal, bro. Like, it's just, like, little stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why, you know, you don't got to, like, you know, just be yourself. Like, if I don't know how to cook and I need help with something,
that's so fire that you called. Like, that's the way that bond is almost like she was right there with you.
Exactly. Like, you know, like, not making it a thing that's, like,
that transcends the distance right there,
bro. And we had mad fun because I'm here looking like a jackass, like figuring shit out and doing dishes and stuff. She's looking at me the whole time, like having a good time, like having a blast. So it's like little stuff like that,
that's
you know.
dope. That's super dope, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I wanted to bring up that conversation because I wanted also to kind of like, you never know, like the fact that you react and you act that way with her and you know what's gonna work for you because you're following your heart and you're both following your paths. It's gonna work. Yeah. So there's people out there that don't have that full confidence yet, whether it be in themselves or their partner or whatever it may be. They might not have that confidence. So I wanted them to see a perspective of somebody who's really about everything that they do and like how you can do that also. Just like literally it boils down, I feel like, to what you said is literally just being honest, being your true self, like you said, being your true self. Because that also brings it out in others, and there has to be like it's pure. It's purity. It has to be the real, because you know how they say real recognize real. Real also it brings out the real. You know what I mean? So
it's I've been like a lot of the stuff I've been listening to, like the Audible that I'm listening to now, like it goes back to that, bro. Like we sense when something's wrong. We as humans we can sense when somebody's energy is off. Yeah. And like you can sense when that person is hiding something for you. And women are incredible at that, bro. Like, a woman will tell you like, yo, like what's wrong? And you be like, nah, everything's good. Nah, something's wrong. Like they know right away. It's like they could sense that, you know. And it's like, well, all of us are like that. But you just, you know, you got to be in tune with yourself. So but it's like you were saying, it's that, and it's like, you know, it's also being honest with yourself. And it's like, you know, if this is a person that you want to spend the next few years of your life or the rest of your life with, like, why not push each other? Like, you know, I always saw that as the number one thing. Like, you know, if we're friends, if we're coworkers or whatever, we got to push each other. Like, you know, eventually we might not, we you know, we might go separate ways and stuff like that. But at least, you know, I could look back to you as a coworker or as a friend and be like, damn, like, you know, we held down for each other type shit. How you always say with your old coworkers and all that. You know.
That's a fact.
So it all translates to relationships, basically.
That's what's up.
How about you? What it was your input on? Well, you're not dealing with the same situation type, type thing.
I guess I'll answer what I've been up to and shit like that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about my previous week, like this past week that we haven't seen each other, and I'll kind of tie everything in together. So I picked up my girl last Monday. It's Monday right now. I picked up my girl last Monday. She's finally done with all her finals. Her last final was that Monday, and she was studying like a motherfucker. She was studying for hours. Like she would be going to sleep at 3 or 4 studying, but she'd been studying, like she started studying when she woke up.
Weeks and for weeks.
Yeah, for weeks. So, but it got really intense. Like for weeks, it got even more intense. During the actual finals. So she'll get fucking 4 hours of sleep before a final for her. Studying, and it's not like she was cramming like last second. No, she's been studying from the morning to the night. So she was going in, and she was also at my house for a lot of that, like for most of that time. Then she went back home during the weekend, and I picked her back up on Monday, after her last final. But basically, like it was kind of intense. It was, I can't say intense, but it was like it gave me time myself to work on my stuff while she's working on her stuff. So it was beautiful in the sense of like having the time to be productive and shit like that. So for both of us, but then also, there's sometimes you're like, damn, like I want to chill with her right now or whatever. So there was like those little moments, but like it never got to any point where like I try to steal her from her work or anything like that.
It's weird. It's hard to cut you off, but like sometimes like you just get that thing, you just want to annoy them.
Yeah. That's what I do. So that right there, that was what we were talking about earlier. If you saw like a little cut, but so back to what's been going on, right? So she was she was studying for all that time, and then I finally pick her up, and she got no finals, no more. For the next 2 weeks, she got no classes.
Nice.
So we're set to actually have time together instead of her just being in my house. And then, at the end of the night, maybe watch TV together and eat together, but like there's nothing else. Like it's all work, which is super dope, but it's also like we need time together as well.
Yeah.
To talk and have conversations. So that's where like that's a big focus of what's been going on this past week. We've been having some conversations, like you said, not service level, big talk. Like we literally, I told her like, yo, like these past few days we straight up just been having big talk, right?
Yeah.
But basically, something happened on Tuesday, like the next day, like we woke up and we were woken up in the middle of our sleeps. They had to come into my crib to fix to remove the door so they could, like, it was some law that passed now. So they had to remove the door. So
stay in the middle of the night?
Not in the middle of the night, but it was the morning.
Oh, okay.
But like it was like 9 in the morning that they started knocking. So they started knocking at 9. I haven't woken up at 9 in a minute. I'm tired. I usually wake up at 10, 10:30 or closer to 11.
Yeah.
So they woke us up in the middle of sleep. Yo, my brain is exploding. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? But I already knew it was them because like I got a notification before, but I didn't know what time they were coming. I told them to come in the afternoon. They came first thing in the morning when they started working. Yeah. I'm like, all right, whatever. So that kind of whooped me into shape, whooped us both into shape right away. So like we had to figure out what the hell we're gonna do. It took us some time, like while they were fixing shit over there, but it's mad uncomfortable. I live in a studio, so like I can't like they move a little bit. They have the view to the whole fucking like the house.
True. Yeah,
so
right.
so it was whack in that sense. But then whatever, we were like, fuck it, like we're not trying to stay here while they're working the whole fucking day. We don't know how long they're gonna be here. We're not gonna sit here and fucking just watch YouTube and shit like all day. So I'm like, yo, like I said, yo, get ready. We gonna dip.
Yeah.
we gonna sit down in the park downstairs, right? So we sit down in the park downstairs, grounding, chilling, and then right there, like big talk. No, big talk starts after we go sit down on the bench. Big talk just starts.
Where
having some.
What you guys spoke about? If you want to share some of that.
That specific one, I can't remember the specifics of. Oh, it was about children and like education. So I was getting her view on like what like her, like if she's into alternate or education and stuff like that, or whatever it may be. But then like I said something and about just like what I want my kids to have, and it seemed to kind of like trigger her, and I'm like, I was like, oh damn, this is a point where if like it makes her feel a type of way, that's what kind of makes me not want to talk about certain shit because I don't want to have like, you know, miscommunicate. I don't want it to be a discussion, not a discussion, an argument.
Okay,
like, I want it to just be a conversation that we could really just build and like make some shit up ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Take it somewhere.
Yeah. Like, but like sometimes I just be like, you know, fuck that. I'm not even gonna talk then. But so the fact
you felt like it stopped there?
No. It didn't. That's the thing. So like I'm patient. I'm patient with her while she's going through whatever she's going through. And then a little later on, I told her how I felt about how she reacted. And then because she was feeling a type of way for a little bit, I'm like, yo, like.
Yeah.
But then right away we kind of got into the conversation about what just happened. Like I found a way to continue the conversation, and then it's like our bond just got like this, and then we like one person, and we're just like talking about like, oh, like I felt like this when you said that. I felt like this, whatever. And then we actually had a fucking great day after that. Like we were both like we were floating through the street, floating through. It was like we got into an instant flow because we were able to like. To connect like that because we were able to communicate and we understood each other at those moments. So then we had when we were walking down we were walking all the way from the west side basically to 7th Avenue, and then like when we were almost at 7th Avenue, she's like, wow, I didn't even notice we were here. Like we just flew, and I'm like we vibing. Crazy, I told her straight up like we vibing.
That facts.
So it strengthened our bond. Our vibe was impeccable. We were going to get toilet paper. But we were having a great time.
You didn't get food?
I think we got food a little later, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn,
but
fire.
Like we were going to get toilet paper and we were flowing. Like that's how you know when you're having a good time. You're doing something that's not supposed to be fun, but like since we're talking and since we're really getting into flow with each other, that makes that's the activity.
And you guys could have easily just stayed home and like watched YouTube how you guys were doing already.
That or when we were outside, she was feeling the type of way. If I would have fed into that and said my own negative shit, or if I acted negatively, and that could have took it somewhere else. Completely, but since I was patient with her, and then she was patient with me as well, with like even being open to communication, we were able to do that. That just connected us like that. So I feel like the communication right now with my girl has been amazing. Because same thing the next day, big talk. The next day, big talk. It was all different things. And at some point, I told her like, yo, like I asked her, I'm like, yo, you tired? Are you tired of like big talk? Like us actually like doing this? And she was like, nah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's fine.
Okay. I'm like, all right, that's dope. Because like at the end of the day, also the person that you're with, they have to be on the same page and also know what they want, and hopefully they want the same thing. For me, I need an understanding. I need us to be able to push like big talk. I need us to be able to push beyond whatever limitations that we have, because that's what I'm doing with my life. So for us to be able to continue to grow with each other, we have to have that type of bond where it's like if she's killing it, she's doing her thing and she's growing in that. And so am I, and what I'm doing. So like whatever we do together is that translates into whatever we do apart as well. So that's why we also have to cultivate and build that with each other, because that's also gonna help us in our life. And then, as we continue to come together, that's a mastermind.
It's crazy,
what you're doing.
Man.
You know what I mean?
That's very true, man. And damn, that's beautiful though, man. That's dope, man.
Yeah. So that's what my week has been like. It started off with that first day. The second day, I told her like, yo, that night, the night that it happened, like later on, I'm like, yo, let's wake up early tomorrow, so we don't have to like be rushing when they come in. Like, so we don't have to fucking take our toothbrush out from there to do it in the sink in the room. I mean, in the kitchen.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, yo, let's just get up early so we could do all that. True. And then by the time they come, we just leave. Bro, we woke up early. They didn't come till like an hour later than they did the day before. So we had even an extra hour. Like, but we was done. We were waiting for them so we could fucking leave.
Wow.
Yeah, so waiting to open the door for them.
They changing the door? That's what.
Yeah, they would change the door. Damn. They took some shit out. They had to paint. It was a bunch of little things, but it took 2 days. But basically, it pushed us because like, we woke up early, bro. We went on a walk, sat on the grass for mad long, grounded. Talk, another big talk conversation pops up that second day. Right when we're sitting there about current events and stuff like that, how she feels. And another thing, something else happened where like there was a bump in communication where she felt a way about how I was going about something, and then I ended up telling her like I didn't like when she said something. I didn't react to it. But she took it like I reacted to it, but I was just looking for understanding, like asking like, yo, like asking for clarification, but she took it as I took it personal. So whatever, but we were able to have the conversation about the conversation. The same thing happened. flowing, we vibing, we going,
crazy.
we go, we eat, we have some good ass food, we talking, we chilling. I have my shirt off because it's hot outside. I'm like, we're just having an amazing day. Then we end up walking on the High Line all the way, all through from the beginning of the High Line to the end of the High Line.
Damn.
So we had the craziest walk, like we're doing our fitness, and at the same time we're having these conversations. So it was like, again,
that's crazy.
And it was all back to the shit that I didn't even want to happen, that they had to fucking change shit in the crib. So like
off of that day,
yeah.
So after that, the whole week was just flowing.
The whole week. So
that's crazy. I mean, but
today,
so. You see, I mean, it was just you guys being yourselves, you know, and being pure honesty and just, you know, bringing that forth.
I'm looking forward to being the best.
And that, you know, how you were saying, like, it's so important for you, like, you know, if you guys are working on something together, like, you're ready, like, you know, if you have months, years, weeks, like, if you're getting to know somebody, like, just be straightforward with them, because sometimes it just makes shit easier instead of you, like, tiptoeing around things that might be, like, you know, matters that might be a little bit uncomfortable and stuff. Like, yeah, and then I see what you're saying. Sometimes, you know, one person might think, like, they might take something personal. The other person might think they took it personal. Sometimes you need clarifications. Sometimes you just need to give it some time, like, you know.
And learn about how each other are, how we know that we are. Like, just talk about it, and then so they can understand you a little better. Because at the end of the day, if they're not in you, there's no way for them to know really how you feel about something. So if you're able to explain, well, you know, how you feel and what made you feel that way, and like why that might be, if you're able to do that, like, bro, like, that's how you really understand each other. But you also have to be open to listening, but also open to sharing, because that's the two sides of the coin.
That and I feel like as a man, sometimes that's something we could be, at least me, like, you know, we could be a little bit hard headed with certain things, like, you know, we feel like it's this way or like, you know, this way type shit, because that's all we know and stuff. But it's sometimes just like, understanding, like, there's times that, like, like you said, like, my girl will tell me something, or like she'll explain something to me, or she'll share her view about something, and might not necessarily agree with it, but then later on it takes me some time, but then I'll catch up to it. I'm like, okay, now I see why she thinks like that.
Yeah, I'm on that same
where she
vibe.
came from and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to bridge that gap too.
And sometimes, you know, it's just patience, having patience, but that honesty, because even if you're not honest with it, you know, from the get-go, like, shit, like, you know, think about it.
You gotta be. I feel like that takes some vulnerability as well, to be able to open yourself up and, like, be honest about who you are and also how things make you feel. Because sometimes we don't want to say, like, yo, that made me feel this way, because then, you know, some people take that as like a sign of weakness, like, oh, you a bitch, or whatever it may be, like that, something little like that, like, oh, you got no sense of humor, oh, this and that, like you don't want to be judged, like, you know what I mean. But as long as, like, you're vulnerable, that also shows the other person that they could be vulnerable, and that you guys could just take that piece of armor off and really just, like, really come together. You know what I mean? Yeah. But
that's true. What are some of the conversations, like, you know, that you guys, if you remember any of them off the top of that?
So that first one that I told you was about, like, education system, and, like, what kind of education we'll want our children to like have, because, you know, there's people that learn better visually, there's people that learn that you could tell from the get-go that they're more of an artistic person or whatever it may be. So the conversation, like, I felt like I was trying to get into the conversation, and I didn't necessarily know how or where to go with the conversation, but then I also felt like she wasn't open to letting me figure it out, because she was kind of like, she was like, no, thing like that. So for me, that I took that as, like, damn, yo, like, then I won't say shit if it's gonna be like that. But then I'm like, I stay strong in myself, like, yo, bro, like, there's a reason also why she's acting like that. So let me try to figure out the reason, because at the end of the day, like, it's not that it's being a bigger person, but it's about just, like, being resilient as well, if that makes any sense to you. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So like, all right, now I'm gonna make the effort to understand you, because, like, I don't think you're understanding where I'm coming from. So let me make the effort to understand you. So, like, it was much more than just the conversation that we were having. We were also having that interaction, and we're learning about each other through that, because that is so many levels. Like, if y'all peep that, there's so many levels to just, like, human relationship, and you get more than what you see. They're like, you see this, but you don't see that conversation and what's going on in that person. Like, people are in very intricate machines. You know what I mean?
That's very true, man. One of the things that I felt like that popped up, I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, how it went, but one of it is just fears. and just like we just were talking about and just realizing how some of these fears internalize to certain things, like like one of it is the fear of like being lonely type shit because we're gonna be separated from each other.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to so there's a bunch of things. I lost my train of thought, like how that conversation went, but it's just that, like, realizing when the fears creep up, and not only realizing when they creep up, but realizing where that fear is coming from, like the fear of loss or the fear of failure, the fear of embarrassing and stuff like that. Like all those things you gotta. As I was telling her, like, that I learned in my book, she the author was like, not a she, is a he actually. So the author was like that in order for you to handle like the fears and stuff, instead of going like one at a time, like the fear of heights, the fear of snakes, the fear of whatever it is, most of them they boil down. I don't know if I talked about it in the last podcast. I don't know if
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Oh, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's probably what I told her.
Yeah. It's the conversation that you're having.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
you can decipher when and where. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But it's basically that, just like how those fears, they all lead back to one certain thing, and like most of them are the same thing. It's like fear of envy, jealousy, all those things. Like you just gotta know where that feeling is coming from.
Yeah.
And if you're able to trace it back to that, you could much better handle. You could cut it off from the head type shit.
Yeah.
Instead of like trying to work all like the fear of this.
Because it's the tiny ones. Because it's like it becomes diluted.
Exactly. Yeah.
At the end of the day, like for example, like there could be like a fear of let's say somebody's scared of like getting hurt. You know what I mean? Whether it be like emotionally or whatever, that could literally just be fear of death. You know what I mean?
True, yeah.
That could just be like because at the end of the day, like let's say getting hurt emotionally, like you feel like shit. Also, if you get hurt outside, like or somebody's gonna like fucking you're scared that somebody's gonna physically harm you. That would probably go to fear of death because you're like you bounce back from that, but like you're focusing on the fear more, which will actually probably make it happen more. You know what I mean? But if you focus on like I feel amazing, I feel safe when you go outside, like
that's I'm not worried about it.
You're cutting off that fear, and through cutting off that fear, you're cutting off that mode of manifestation as well. Like here's that shit projecting out to the manifestation to come back. You're snipping it here, and so that shit's not gonna come back. You're not gonna meet that shit at any point.
That, and then you're not gonna take your energy to that level. Like you're not gonna start thinking about doubts, about envy, jealousy, whatever those fears are. You're not gonna get on that negativity. And that's really important because that's when the doubts and all those things and even more fears start creeping up, and like you second guess yourself. And that's where people like shut off and like don't get shit done. So like it's really important to like just understand that, like understand when that's happening, and like like you said, like you understand. So one of the things that I was the Joseph channel, like
Joseph Rodriguez. If you guys want, we'll put it in the description.
We have to, we should. We got to put them on with that.
Yeah, we'll put that so you guys could have it like a resource. So like also like maybe like what sometimes we may be talking about.
Yeah, when we reference it.
To certain things, so we'll put that in the description down below.
I'm going to send you this one episode I was listening to. He put it out like a few days ago, I think, or today. And, like that was in the time when I was setting this up. So like I was kind of like, I was in and out of the conversation. Like
But you'll pick up like what you need at that
and I'm going to
shit.
definitely go back and listen to that one, like, paying full attention to it. But, we're just talking about like those things, like he always talks about like how the imagination internalizes into like like as you imagine yourself, that's what's gonna internalize into the outer world, which is the five senses, I think that he said. That
it externalizes into like the five sensory what is it?
Five sensory world is like that type of like the 3D world.
Mm-hmm.
But so it was something around that. But then he also said like when you have those doubts, and for example, like if you're trying to lose weight, that's your goal, right? You know what you have to do. You know what you shouldn't do and what you have to do. You should work out. Watch out with your calories. Cut the sugars. You know what's healthy, what's unhealthy. Like if you're faced with some vegetables and a donut, you could obviously tell which one is not the healthy option, right?
Yeah.
So it just boils down to like you make, you're gonna be presented with those things in your life. Make the correct decision and don't worry about it, because the rest is gonna figure itself out. Now, one thing that he put on top of that is like, now you could show up to it, make the decision, and go with it. Or you could also show up to it make the decision and know that that's the best decision that you can make, and come with it with a positive attitude.
That just gives it more fuel.
More fuel, and increases your chances of you manifesting that even faster. Yeah. Bro, like that shit was like, damn, it's so true. Because it's
that's
like
fire.
You could sit down and write a song, and it's like, you know, sometimes you could doubt yourself. But it's like, what can you do? You know, you could get it through. Like, you'll get it through, right? But what if you get it through and you're like, you know what? I'm going to put the best foot forward on this song type shit. Like writing.
You know what's crazy? That you bring up that specific example. Because last night I was just chilling, but I was working at the same time. Like I was doing stuff while doing stuff. It was crazy. All the shit that I was fucking had to do. Whatever. Anyways, back to the point. Back to the point. So like I'm like, all right, I finally get to write. I was gonna skip my writing practice for yesterday. I was gonna skip it. I'm like, nah, fuck. Like, she's over there. She's been waiting for me for the whole day to chill because now she finally got her time. And I don't necessarily, because I have to do all these things in order for my day to be fulfilled. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So, but I want, at the end of the night, I want to meet with her and like talk and watch TV or whatever it may be. So, but at that point, I'm like, nah, even if it's 30 minutes, I want to do an hour. Even if it's 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. I'm gonna do my practice now. So I sit down, an idea comes for this beat. I'm like, all right, let me just do that. I followed that first idea. Like I've been meaning to start a song to that beat, pull up the beat. I hear it, I'm like, oh fuck, I don't even know where to start. What do I say? And shit like that. Like that was kind of like the thought in my mind, but I'm like, fuck, I don't know. I'm gonna play it a few times and then I'll figure it out. I don't care. Like whatever. Yo, I did it a couple times. Like some whack shit came out for like the first thought, the second thought. After that, I'm just like, I'm transported to that world. Line, murking it. Damn, I sound like that. Damn, that was me.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like just really like having one of those moments where like, oh, it's getting quicker. I'm really putting these pieces together, and I'm getting better at my career, my profession, and it was letting me know. It was giving me that thing like, yo, just keep going, keep going. You did everything you needed to do today. So guess what? Here's a gift to you.
Yeah.
Boom.
And you wouldn't have gotten it if you didn't make the initial step to be like, like, let me just put in.
I had to get out of my own head real quick to like that was telling me like, yo, like go over there. Kind of like almost like be lazy. But I also told my girl, push me. And she's been pushing me too.
That's fire.
So that was a moment where I was like, all right, I got this. And once I got to a point where it's like I had to, push a little bit more, I'm like, I did my 25, I did my 30 minutes. Now let me go. I was blessed. I appreciate you. Keep going. You know what I mean?
It's fire.
So, but yeah,
that's funny because I felt like the same way, especially today and just last night. Mostly today, I was telling you like my phone messed up, so I had to do an Apple, I had to go to the Apple store like ASAP type shit. Like today, I scheduled an appointment, but then that kind of like threw my day off because I was supposed to like post on YouTube, and the time that I was saving to like finish that YouTube video, I ended up trying to figure shit out on my phone. And trying to back up my phone. And then, long story short, the backup wasn't working on my Mac computer. So I'm like, screw it, let me try my Windows computer. I hadn't turned on my Windows computer since like, for a few months now. Like, I've been on my Mac for like a long time. So then what I had to do, like, I had to wait for my phone to back up the files because I know they're going to replace my phone when I get back. So doing that shit took like 4 hours, yo. Those 4 hours, I went through a whole bunch of beats, like old beats that I hadn't even opened.
Nah. But hold on, pause real quick. Yesterday when I was sending you those Snapchats of older songs, and I was posting on Instagram the older songs, exactly what I was doing because I had some time that I had to utilize for my music, and that was what I was doing at the moment. I was going through everything that I have. So crazy that you were going through everything that you had, and I was at the same time. But that's crazy.
But what I noticed is that with that shit in itself, like even that, like I was still like a little bit hard headed. Like I was a little bit hard on myself. Like like I could have.
I want to be doing this instead of
like
this.
I could have been doing this. And but it's like then I stopped and I thought about it. I'm like, yo, like I gotta chill out. Like I'm still doing what I'm supposed to be doing because it's like I'm still like stumbling up. Like I'm not stumbling, but I'm coming across these beats that I'm actually gonna. I know they're good, so I'm gonna fix them, and that's for YouTube. So that's actually it's helping me do the stuff that I couldn't do.
But it feels like because you did it already, that you looking at it is not sufficient. But you looking at it and figuring like, oh, I could still use this. that's also part of the work.
Yeah,
So then
that's what I'm
it's gonna
saying.
go to also your productivity, and it's not gonna be that you're working harder
Mm-hmm.
or less. It's gonna be that you're working smarter.
That, and then what that told me is like, damn, like, yeah, even I just noticed how, like, even while you're getting stuff done, sometimes it's easy for the mind to play tricks on you and be like, yo, you're not getting shit done, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You were supposed to post on YouTube.
Yeah.
Those 4 hours, I went over like a bunch of beats. I found probably like at least 4 or 5 beats that I'm gonna just fix up and put them up in the next few weeks. So it's like, in a way, like you said, like, you know, like it rewarded me, because it's like, here, like, you know, you had to deal with this nonsense with your phone and stuff like that. Now, like, I know that I don't have to, like, you know, I don't have to, like, rush to make new beats for, like, this week. So you get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And at the same time, it fucking proved me, I'm like, yo, like, I was killing shit a few months ago when I thought I wasn't killing. Because it's always like that, like, yo, this shit don't sound good enough. But then I go back and I'm like, what the fuck? I was doing some crazy shit. Like, and it's like,
I'm on that vibe.
that always shows you, like, nah, bro, like, you'll go at everything that you do type shit.
That's
remember that.
insane. Yesterday I was going down a rabbit hole. I went down a rabbit hole through my first mixtape. I was going through my first mixtape listening to, you know, what's good about this. I was listening, what's good about this. I figured out mostly what was good about it, but like technically, like my voice, like it's always something that I go back to. Is like my voice wasn't where I wanted to. The breathing wasn't where I wanted to. Like I'm picking things apart, but I'm like, yo, people still fucked with it. I checked that piff. There was like 100 downloads of that mixtape, and
That's
like,
fine.
what? Like how? Like thinking about that is like it's incredible, especially sounding how it sounds. But like now I know how much better I got because I have the reference of where I'm at now.
Yeah.
But I was going through all that. I'm like, oh man, like there's a reason why I'm doing the message that I'm speaking about and stuff. I started just like learning more about why, like not even why I'm doing what I'm doing, but like where I've been on this path and what I'm capable of. Because sometimes you feel like, oh, I haven't done this in a while. Maybe I'm not as good at that.
That's very true.
You know, as you're making music, because at the end of the day, you want to make the best music overall.
Yeah.
At least that's me personally, and I'm sure you too. You want to make the best music you can make.
Yeah.
So I was like, again, I was going through that, and I was like, wow, I fuck with this old stuff. Now let me listen to things in between and after and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta check this era. So I was thinking about a specific era, and I'm like, yo, all those songs that in that era, I'm like, yo, these songs are amazing, and they're almost to the level of where I am now.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too long ago, but it was a while ago. So I'm like, yo, like this is amazing. Oh man,
shit.
I worked way harder than I gave myself credit.
Yeah,
for.
right. Like you be
I
seeing
put
that
down
shit,
all
right?
these songs that are gonna be released.
Nice.
I wrote them all down. And,
just
and
singles.
That's the thing. That's what I still gotta put together. Where there's gonna be 2 EPs, or whether there's gonna be one long one, or whatever it may be. And also
I'm all with the shit.
yeah, and also with the like the titles and like the titles kind of help me remember what the song was about. So not having too many songs that are about this one thing or whatever. So that I gotta separate them between projects. So like the first 3 songs may not be in the same like projects or whatever. Like maybe completely different because I'm touching on these certain subjects in different ways and stuff like that. You know what I'm trying to say? So it was just like, wow, like I did all this. I built all this work. Now it's time for me to continue to use my time and dedicate time to that, because that's me trying to be as productive as possible and making music. You know what I mean? That also that could take away from another part, which is like actually realizing what I have and what I could do with what I have. And like you said, which we're gonna do with YouTube, I got projects on projects on projects, and I'm still making fire shit now that I'm setting myself up for when it's time for those. But right now, it's like whoa, like man, I'm a beast.
Man, I be telling you, I go back months later and listen to songs that you recorded like months back, and I'll be like, yo, this is crazy. You got to put it out. And it's like, yeah, like,
and it's crazy because you say that all the time for everything. So it's like, yo, like, you were basically telling me, yo, like, it's time to utilize what you got. That's behind everything, behind the actual words you say. You were basically saying that, like, yo, like, it's you utilize that time to for the small things, which is this, which is actually gonna be way bigger than you think it is.
That, and it's like, it's interesting because it's like if you don't, like you were saying, like sometimes you in certain songs you might come across the same topic, but like you get at it at a different way, a different angle, different story, different point of view type shit. And it's like, you know, what if that's the point of view that resonates the most with a certain listener, but we're stuck in our head like, nah, this is not the song.
Yeah.
But we're missing out on like 10 listeners that's
the perfect way to reach
for
them to receive the message,
bro. That's the one thing YouTube taught me. It's like, bro, like you like you think like sometimes you think like, yo, this video is gonna do dope, it's gonna do good, might not do so good. But there's been times that I'll be like, yo, this beat is not good, I don't like it, but I'm gonna put it out because I want to stay on schedule. I'll put it out, that shit'll blow up like somewhere, like in South America or somewhere, like it'll get like 500,000 plays.
Crazy.
And it's like that shit taught me from since I got serious with it. It's just like it's not about you, and you're not the one that decides whether the shit is good or not, bro. And it's like that's all goes back to just being in our head and shit. I got the Rust book somewhere over there. The Rust book you let me.
And being the purest version of yourself too.
Yeah, and just letting yourself, just letting yourself grow, and like, like you said, going back to those older songs that you have and like learning, like, and picking up the things like, okay, like I came with this over here, like, but my breathing is this, and like, but also understanding like these are beginning steps that I was taking.
Yo, back to In My Eyes, like the amount of thought that I put into the story of not just the songs, but where the songs were placed, what clips were coming before and after, what it sounded like. I was like, it was like you would think that I had the craziest budget to get all this stuff in, but it's like I picked this from here, I picked this from here, picked this from here, and I put it all together, and it's like, and I made something that to this day people still feel like is their favorite work from me.
It's crazy, man.
Like.
That's so beautiful in itself. It's like there's so many people like out there, and the internet has opened all the floodgates, and it's like, it's just that in itself, that story in itself. Hopefully, like any artist or producer or anybody, any creator that's like is planning on putting things out, even a business owner, if you're planning on launching, like, bro, there's always somebody that's gonna fuck with your shit. Like, it's gonna resonate with your product, with your music, with your artistic stuff. Like, just do it.
Just
like,
actually do it.
Yeah, if you don't do it, like, yo, it's like this podcast, bro. Like, none of this is none of this is scripted, bro. Like, we like, I think you asked me earlier, like, yo, you got any questions? I'm like, yo, like, the whole week I was like, I was not thinking about questions. And then I'm like, so then I asked him, I'm like, how about you? You got questions? He's like, yeah, I wrote some down right now while I was sitting. But I was figuring my shit out with Spring on the phone, like,
yeah, he was taking bad long for figuring some shit out with Spring. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, yo, I could like scroll the gram, or I could like take an opportunity to write down some topics that I think would be good for the podcast. And we planned to shoot this shit yesterday,
bro. And the shit is that was like so crazy about it is like, at least to me now, is that I'm learning how to and this is one of the things I was thinking about when I was over there in Philly. I'm like, we letting it happen, like we just flowing with it, and it's like now is that like I'm this age, like like I wish I would have figured that shit out sooner, but it's okay. Like, I'm not beating myself up about it, because we just, the way education is, like, it goes back. Maybe you talked about it with your girl about education, but it goes back to like, yo, we've been taught to like just make shit complicated, bro. Like, make it complicated. Like, you want to start a business, it has to be complicated. It cannot be easy. You want to do music, it gotta be complicated.
Yeah, with school being one of the like,
bro,
hoops
like
that people have to go through.
All these hoops you gotta go through, and it's like, yo, that shit is the complete opposite of how everything is, bro. Like, I could tell you, bro, like, because I could tell you, because it's like I had doubts about like starting a business. I had doubts about leaving my 9 to 5.
Yo, and just one thing you guys should know about him is that this dude, he has talents that you wouldn't even know. like and he knows about so many different things that it's like the only reason he's able to know about all those things is because he's had to dive into that thing one time, two times, three times, and he was just able to figure it out, like you said.
Yeah.
And that goes with just like flowing and letting it happen. Like, he painted something. You guys will see it in the next video. He painted something, and that was for a video of mine, and I was not expecting. I didn't expect that at all. And it was amazing. And it goes back to the fact that he went to a couple of like paint and sips, and he just
went to one.
He went to one, and he retained that information that he learned, and he utilized it.
That shit came in handy, man, because that shit came out dope. Just it's stepping out of your comfort zone. That's one of the most important things. That was something that we brought up. One of the conversations that came up with me and my girl is like I was, she's really honest. She's like, yo, like, I don't know if this is the right move and this and that, because the stuff that's happening with the relationship. She's away from her family, and it's like, bro, like, you, like, this is challenging. This is a step that you're taking, like, but this is a step that you're taking towards your goal, towards your dream. So, like, trust me, you're doing the right thing. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Exactly. You're facing those steps. Yeah. Like, I told her, like, yo, look back to any other things you've done Like you became a nurse, you graduated from school, you graduated from high school, like coming from a single mom, like you done all these things.
It was those steps that you were in that you succeeded.
Those are things.
Use that as the confidence and the fuel for
That's what I'm saying, bro.
If there's no other source, at least use that. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, and it's like it's really, my bad. It's really important for us to realize it. It's like, yo, bro, like just kind of like put the dots together. Like just look back at your life and like certain things that you like. You didn't think you could do it and shit. Like you figure it out. Like you got it.
I feel like one of the things you said is huge about just like not beating yourself up. Like that's something that we should also like. I hate to say normalize because like that's become its own thing about like, oh, normalize this, normalize that. Like shut the fuck up. Sometimes it become a meme now. Normalize this, normalize that. But like it should be something that like we actually take care of ourselves some more and not even like in the physical sense where like, oh, getting your nails done. With that could be part of it or whatever it may be. But like let's normalize just being nice to yourself in your mind, like not beating yourself up about, damn, I did this, or damn, I what if I do this? Even that, what if I do this? That's before it even happens. Like don't worry about it. Like just let it flow, man. But yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, man. We had some dope conversations. That was one of the things we talked about too, like just not beating yourself up and like just not going back to like that you know, like I'll bring this up, like I remember my old job, the last job I had, there was a video that they showed us, like, you know, towards the end of me working there. They're like, you know, they've always been big on customer service and all that stuff, but one of the things that, like, you know, they were teaching us in one of the like the learning modules, whatever that they do, they're like, you know, when you tell a customer, like when you're trying to help a customer and like it's something that you, like it's a difficult thing for you to do, like it's not, like it's something that you can't really do for a customer, like if you can't help him, like you can't help it, you can't help the customer, like you can't do it, like either a customer got to come back or somebody else has to do it, whatever the case is, just try to like do your best as possible, or like, you know, if we mess up as a company, try to put it in a way that like don't use but. Don't be like, oh, well, we were open at this time, but you came 10 minutes after.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And it's like, it goes deeper than that. Like, I just forgot the example how they used it, but it's basically like, if you apologize, I can't be like, yo, I'm sorry you got mad after that comment that I said earlier, but you being a bitch. Like, I can't say that because it's like, you get what I'm saying?
It's combative more than it is actual being sorry or anything like that.
And then, so then this week, that was some of the things we were talking about. It's like, you know, sometimes I'll catch her, or like, I'm pretty sure I do it too. Like, we'll say something like, yo, congrats on this, or like, yo, it's amazing that you're doing this, or like, we'll say something positive, like, I'll cheer her up for something. Yeah, but this and that, like, yo, cut with the butts. Like, just leave it at that. Like, accept it. Like, sometimes even that in itself is difficult for us to accept praise from somebody, or like congratulations and stuff. Like, just that's another thing we gotta learn how to deal with. It's like, yo, just it's no buts. Like, that's it. Like, you're doing your thing. Like, you know, you're hustling. You being you. Like, there's no buts. It shouldn't be anything.
That's a fact. Yeah. I had an experience similar to that today. Just like I woke up, and today was a very,
you woke up today?
it was a very quick day. Like it was a lot of things happening one after the other. So I wasn't necessarily on my phone that much. And I know like we posted yesterday on Instagram about the big talk that we posted. And then I woke up to like I saw some good comments, but I had to continue on my day. Yeah. But the comments were like people like, yo, like I fuck with this and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw some good ones too.
So it took me like even to tonight to like just actually go there and accept that people are fucking with it. You know what I mean? And that people are saying that they're fucking with it. Because like it's almost like you don't want to, but like I gotta step in there and thank the people for fucking with it, because but sometimes I don't even want to like talk or like right? Me is like I'm an interesting person because I always have to put myself out there. But like I'll put myself out there, but to receive is a little bit different for me. Yeah. And that goes even with my like relationships and stuff like that. When it comes to like I could give you all the love and all the comfort in the world, but like when it's kind of done, when like the affection is time to come to me, I'm just kind of like I don't know how to how to deal with it. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But like that's not to say that I don't appreciate the affection and the love. Yeah. It's more just like I gotta learn how to let it in and let it learn how to
just
express
accepting
mine,
it. Yeah.
the like my appreciation for yours or whatever it may be.
Okay.
Learn how to show that in the deepest and truest way. Because I don't want to say something just because like is a response. When I say something, I want you to feel that I said that. Like if I say yo, like if I'm really expressing my gratitude to you, I want it to be the full feeling, not just this piece of the feeling. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Nah, it makes sense. Nah, that's definitely true, and it goes back to just accepting, like that. Just accepting you to go, bro. That's it. That's gotta put it like that. That's a simple
And we
way,
all are. We all are the goal. That's the crazy thing because we're all the best versions of ourselves that we can be at this moment. Who you are right now is the best version of you because you're here right now. So accept the best parts of yourself and just forget about those little things that pop up because if you just don't shed light on them, they're not alive. There's no life in them. But whatever you shine light on is what's living. So shine the light on the light. You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
Like
that's very true, man. That's definitely some big talk conversations.
You know how we get down, man. Come
you
on.
got
man.
any other questions off the top of your head or anything
off the top? I feel like this conversation is definitely a conversation that has to be added upon. I feel like we could keep going with this conversation that we're having. Like it's an endless conversation. But I did write down a couple topics. I think we already touched on a couple, but y'all give me a second.
Yeah, we're about to do 3 episodes this week if we go this way. This rate. Not mad at that. We
could flowing.
We could plan for ahead of time and stuff.
Yo, I literally asked all these questions, but I just had to write them down. I didn't look.
That's how it is. That's why it's important to write them down. Wow, that's crazy. That's dope. Yeah, we've been answering that. Like first, that was the first 30 question. Minutes or something.
That's the first. Whoa, he's good. I almost made a beat right now. But man, this has been more than an hour. But I feel like we go for another 3 hours.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
So if you guys fucking enjoyed this episode, I would say fucking drop it down, and I'm gonna respond to you. I'm gonna be like, yo, I actually appreciate that you watched this, and I love you. And you're watching it. If you're watching this right now, you got here. I appreciate you and I love you so much. And thank you for being here for Big Talk. There's gonna be plenty more. So if you feel like, damn, I still want more Big Talk. There's gonna be another Big Talk coming.
Yo,
baby.
Come on, we always having the Big Talk conversation.
We working for y'all, baby. We're making this work.
We getting people that are having the conversations with us too, like
influential people who are real human beings, people who don't only care about themselves and what they can get from something, but they care about actually giving to people. Like at the end of the day, these are conversations that me and him will always have. But the fact that me and him are so open with each other, we have the type of relationship that we have. We're able to show you that you can actually have a conversation with somebody that's not surface level. It's Big Talk. Yeah. So Big Talk episode 4. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, we also forgot you got that advice thing that you be doing at the end of the episode.
Oh,
you forgot about that. But now, I was just gonna go back to Charlie again. It's like, it was so great of him to just be open, be himself, and it's like, we were saying like you just being open, that's being yourself, like being what's that word I'm looking for? Not down to earth or anything like that. Being genuine and vulnerable, like just being out there, like just just like how he said, like, he be waking up telling himself affirmations and stuff. Like, he didn't have to share that.
He did not have to share that because some people could look at that and feel like it's corny or whatever it may be. So he could kept that to himself so that he felt like just so that people don't really know that about something personal like that.
And that's beautiful. I mean? And that's what I like about like nowadays and just like everything, just people being honest and being upfront. Like, bro, like it's not a secret about how we do this shit. He wakes up every day. I'm pretty sure there's days he's tired, he don't want to get up, but he knows, like he was saying, like, yo, bro, like I'm still here, like I got a purpose, like my parents came here to struggle, like I got to do this stuff, like, just find those reasons why you got to, like, put your best foot forward type shit and just keep going. But back to that, so like what after this conversation, what do you think is a good note for you to leave the listeners on?
Let me open myself up for some advice.
He's a bug now.
Guys.
He's a fucking bug now.
Damn, this is tough.
I know it's getting harder, right?
It's getting harder.
Every episode. But I guess like maybe along the lines of
it helps us. It helps us, they get like get that connection to give to them.
True.
Connect. That'll be my my thing. Connect with yourself first and foremost. You have to connect with yourself. Connect with the people around you. Sometimes you want to be to yourself, like we were talking. Sometimes you don't want to be around people. But if you connect with yourself and you connect with other people, then if they don't feel as strange, they don't feel as outside to you. they're somebody that you could build a bond with.
Yeah.
The kind of bond that me and him have through all these years of friendship. The bond that I'm continuing to create with, you know, others, you know, friends that, you know, I've known for a long time already, but our connection gets deeper through us, you know, spending time with each other and learning about each other, to new friends, to like to people that you met a year ago, but now you're actually, you know, Joe, shout out my brother Joe. I know you probably watching this, but like people who you know you meet through life circumstances, and they become, you know, through connecting, they become people that you could actually have big talk with, and that you could connect with, and that's all through connection and opening yourself up to the connection, putting yourself out there, and being vulnerable, like you said. So my thing would be to connect.
It's a pretty good one. Damn, what would I? I guess mine is along the lines of that, because like, you know, this week was really about that, and just being open, just being honest, and you know, and just you know, being yourself, and just I always say this at the end of every episode: just be yourself, be yourself. I sound like a broken record.
Nah, all right. So close your eyes real quick. I'm gonna put him through the exercise real quick. Close your eyes. Close your eyes, right? Remember that song? Give me that. Give me that.
Yeah,
give me that. Picture pitch black right now in your mind.
Yeah, it's mad black. My eyes are closed.
Right?
Yeah, eyes. Yeah.
All right. Now open your eyes and just talk.
Big talk. Nah, man. I feel like it's still the same thing. I just, but I feel like I already discussed it. It's just that conversation, man. I noticed that, at least with me, like, you know, whenever I was upfront with somebody, or like just honest with them, that's, yeah, like you were saying, that's how you could get the most out of a relationship. Either it's a friendship, either it's a business transaction, whatever it is, just be honest, bro. And like, sympathy is another thing that we touched on, like that we were discussing. Just having sympathy, like, you know, understanding like we each come from like a different household, different cultures, different backgrounds, and that's beautiful in itself. Like that's what, you know, makes it beautiful. But it's like, don't see it as something that should divide us. Instead, see it as something that should, you know, bring us together, type shit. Because it's like, how are you supposed to, like, you know, continue to, like, you know, develop yourself as a human being if you're not open to like those, you know, those connections? Like, it goes back to connections and all that stuff. Just that, man.
It's lit, man.
Yeah, man.
Fucking lit.
Good episode.
Big talk.
Probably do another
Number
one.
4.
We'll do probably like 2 more this week, because this one was comfortable. Like, we just, it's late as shit. We just tired, but
get it done earlier next time. But Big Talk episode 4, the realest podcast in the multiverse. We here, and blast off, baby.
Thank you for the support, all the love, all the comments and everything, bro.
Love y'all. Talk to y'all. Peace.
Good stuff, Flaco.
Big dog.
All right, let's go to sleep. Yeah, right. Now I gotta do some mixing.